Hey there, Donna here. Welcome to my channel, welcome to my studio, and welcome to this tutorial. Now, in this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make Starry Night canes. Starry Night canes are the canes we use to make what you see before you. Now, once you know how to do that, then we're going to cover making beads. These are tricolor beads. Here are some more beads too, just for you to look at. And we are going to make earrings. Little acorn earrings. Yeah. Actually, I think we'll make, well, I'll show you how to do this and how also to make an elongated version. So we got some work to do. Let's get started. Okay, so before we start making our Starry Night canes, let's talk a little bit about them. Because there is a way that I feel you can make a less successful Starry Night cane. And that is in selecting colors that have no contrast, okay? So when you are selecting your colors and you're going into your little color bin, like I have bins like this, a little bit low right now because I've been making a lot of these canes. You see that I have a lot of these chalky colors here, right? And then this is even a chalky color, but then there's red out of the package. So anyway, when you select your colors, you're going to pick all these different little bits that you have accumulated from other projects or canes, and you're going to pick out these little bits. Don't forget to pick out the very chalky pastels, okay? Now, I have found that, you know, a little goes a long way, unless you happen to want a lavender Starry Night cane. In which case, if you really wanted a lavender cane with just a little bit of violet in it, of course, you choose a lot more lavender. You choose a lot more of those chalky colors, okay? So that's really the only way that I think your cane can be a little less interesting, is if you forget the white or the baby blues, the pinks, the very chalky orange, the very chalky green. Like this is see, there's a lot of white in that green. So that's really the only way. So make sure that you include some of those colors in your mix. Okay, let's make Starry Night canes. Okay, so let's start. Now what you see before you are just bits and pieces that I fished out of boxes that I have of just colored bits. And this particular cane is perfect for that. If you have little pieces, nice colors that you like, you don't want to just throw them into your scrap bin, well, you can use them for this purpose. So now what I'm going to do is just start by roughly chopping. You can see I have some magenta, yellow. I have this berry color that I like very much, some orange. Just bits. Okay, so let me start chopping the other way, and then we're going to mix them all together. Now I'm going to take all of this to my little Oscar. Now if you're of a certain age, you'll remember little Oscar. Little Oscar was just about the first food processor, I think. Well, it's probably after Cuisinart, but it was definitely the first sort of small food processor. Yeah, and it's very old, but it still works just fine. Okay, very powerful stuff. Okay, now I'm going to take this to little Oscar and I'm going to pulse for a while, and I'll show you what it looks like when I get back. Okay, got the bits in. This is before, and I'll show you after. And this is after. Now, I want you to look. You don't want to pulse so much that the bits are so small, okay? You want them kind of chonky. And literally, I just pulsed twice. And little Oscar did the job. Okay, so let's dump them out, all the little bits, like so. And we'll form this into a loaf. Okay. Now, one thing about all the bits that I had, they had been used or conditioned at one time. I did not recondition them, but none of the pieces that I used was like just straight off the block like that. They had been conditioned. And, you know, you think, well, maybe you don't have to do that, but I would advise that you do use conditioned clay. Okay. Now I'm going to take the Boss. If you guys are familiar with this, Teresa Salgado sells this on her Tiny Pandora site, and it is really a wonderful tool. I highly recommend it. It just makes life a little bit easier because it is so heavy that you don't have to push nearly as hard as you would otherwise. Okay, so now I've got this pretty compact rectangle of bits. Okay. And I would really like the bits not to fall apart. Okay. Now let me just flatten it the other direction a bit, because I'm going to take this to my pasta machine. Now I like making a rectangular shape because I always know what edge is going through the pasta machine, which turns out to be kind of important to me in this particular cane. Because when you make this cane, you will find that you are creating a grain with all these bits. And that when you make your cane, one side may look like this, but another side is going to look like that. Do you see how long and stringy this is, as opposed to this side, which has all the choppy little bits in it? Well, that only happens if you roll this through the pasta machine the same way. In other words, if I put this edge on the rollers and roll through, I will always roll through on this edge, or if I fold it, it's going to be on here, but it will never be placed on the rollers on this edge. I hope that's clear. Okay, let's reset my machine to setting 0, which is the thickest setting on my pasta machine. I have an Atlas. I use an Atlas 150. I don't use the very, very wide one because I don't make things that are that big. All right, this edge on the rollers, let's roll through. All right, look at that. Now let's fold. And I'm going to put this edge on the rollers and roll through. I'm going to fold it again. Wow, look at that magenta. It's really popping out. You know what? I'm going to take a cut off at the end, and let's take a look at what it looks like inside. Now this is the choppy edge. And this edge will be the long stringy edge. I hope you can see that. It will become more apparent as I continue right now, they look very much the same, don't they? This edge, if you look, the bits have been stretched out farther, like that. And the choppy edge, they haven't been stretched out in the same way. They're still pretty compact. All right, let's roll this through the pasta machine again. Once again, same edge is going to be touching the rollers as I roll through. All right, let's fold. And let me cut this, and we'll see what we have so far. Ooh, that's pretty. I like it. Okay, now let's take a look at what we have on this side. And you can see how much stringier it is. See the difference? All right, now the beauty of this cane is this will go into another Starry Night cane. All right, so let's just cut it in half and make a loaf. Now you can see also when I cut it, I just slid it over. I did not do this. I didn't cut it and then turn it this way. I mean, you can see the difference. See the grain this way and the grain this way? Well, you want to make sure that you maintain that grain, that you don't turn it. All right. Now at this point, I'm going to cut down this way. And look at this side. See how stringy it is? And this is the choppy side. Choppy and stringy. You have two choices here. And this only happens when you pay attention and you rolled your clay through the pasta machine the same direction, the same way. All right, so what I think you should do, I'm going to use this, and you know what I think I'll use? Maybe these are the ones that I have. They're just sitting around. I have some green too, all wrapped up. So I have enough to choose from. So I would suggest making 3 for your bead. And while you're doing that, I'm going to struggle to open this up. I'll be back. Okay, so here is my core. It measures 3/4 of an inch in diameter. So this is what we're going to use. Yeah. Now, I'm going to take a slice off of here. And you know what? I think this is about 3 millimeters. Like that. The other side is going to be violet. I'll cut a slice about the same thickness because they appear to be just about the same size. Now, I'm going to roll this through setting number 3. Both of them. All right, this was a little bit thicker, therefore it's a little bit longer. Let's just put that guy down there and cut. And I have a gap. Now I could fill that gap with a 3rd color, or I can roll another, or I can cut you know what, I think I'll use this blue the two blues. That is what I'm gonna do. So I'm cutting this thinner because this is quite a bit larger. Roll it through setting 3. And look at that, just like so. All right. Now I'm going to roll this down to 1/2 inch, and then we're going to make some beads. A little bit more. Okay. Now I'm going to take my mark set, but you can use a ruler if you'd like, and I'm going to cut sections that are 20 millimeters long. Okay, perfect. Now let's cut. Like so. Now to make these round, I pinch just with my fingers like that, so I'm creating a slight indent. Now I'm going to rotate and pull the pattern from the sides up over the hole, just like this. Let's do the other side. Like so. And roll. Oh, that's a pretty little bead. Okay, now I'm going to take my needle, sitting the bead right up like so. I'm going to pierce straight down, turn it over, pierce from this side straight through, and there's my hole. Now I'm going to leave this round, but of course you could just as easily, I like this shape a lot, the sort of flattened chunky rondelle. I like this shape. Maybe I'll make chunky rondelles. Okay, so here's the thing about chunky rondelles. Now they're bigger, right? A round bead would be a smaller bead, like smaller across the middle. And rondelle, of course, is larger, right? I just flattened it so the equator is larger. Thing about these two is that because I flattened them, it's going to take a lot more of them. If you want to string something like a choker or even a bracelet, it takes a lot more of these than it does a round bead. Okay, so let me continue. All right, so let's make some earrings. How about that? Now I've selected these 3 canes I'm going to use. And I think this time I'm going to cut along the short side. or the choppy side instead of the stringy side, you see. I'm going to take this, place this edge on the rollers, and roll through one. And let's go all the way down through. That looks good. We're going to stick with 3. Now, the core here measures 5/8 of an inch across. Okay, let's take the green next. Going to roll this through 3 as well. And place it just like that. Well, you know what? Looks like all I can fit are 2. All right, if I want 3, just going to cut some of this off. Perhaps a little bit of this green. And let's take a slice from this, roll it through setting 3 again. A little bit short, I think that'll be okay. All right, so there are our 3 colors for our earrings. Yes, let me cut the excess off. Set these aside. I'm going to roll this down until it's about 1/2 inch in diameter. Okay, that looks good. Go to the end. Now I'm going to use my mark set, and I'm going to measure against the 15mm side. I don't want to make earrings that are too large, so I'm just pressing 15mm against the side. And let's cut some pieces. Now, because I have 3 colors, I want to make my earrings mirror image, not all the same. What I do with the 3 is I'm going to pick it up and set it like that. Pick it up, set it like that. Now you can see how the colors are arranged here. They are mirror image. If it's like this, you see the position of, let's say, the green and the blue are not correct. So try to maintain this mirror image thing. I think it's really important when you're making earrings that you don't have 2 of the same. If the earrings are not symmetrical, you want them to mirror image. All right, so I'm going to close the end like so. Okay, so that's the top. Now let's close this side. So you see the red, green, blue, red, green, blue. All right, let's close the other end. And this is the end we're going to draw out and thin. All right. Like so. Now the other one. Okay, it's looking good. Now I'm going to put a twist in them. Let's draw this end out just a little bit. Not as much as this tapering end. Let's round the shoulders of this side. Just a bit. Like that. Now I'm going to twist the ends. So I'm going to twist this one this way. I'm going to take this one and twist it in the opposite direction. Like so. Okay. Okay, so the next thing I have to do with my little earrings is I have to embed a head pin. Now see these? I really like these. It's got just a little ball on the end, and that will be enough. I'm going to take a needle and pierce straight in, like so, into both of them. Just like that. And then take the ball and push it down into the clay. Like so. Now I'm going to take a little bit of liquid clay. I'm just going to put it right up here around the top. And this will also help keep that ball in the clay. Okay, let's do the other one. And then these are going to be popped in the oven. After they're cured, I'll be back. Yeah, I haven't gone away yet. I think this little bit of liquid clay is important. Right there. Okay, now I'm going away. I'll be back. Okay, peeps, we are ready to finish. Now, what I've done here is I took a tiny silver bead, put it on top, and then took a very small black faceted check bead. All right, so let's make our closed loop. This is the second time I'm doing it because last time I did it down here. So I have to do it again. I'll be more careful. Now I'm going to take my round nose pliers and just grip the wire like so, and then just with my fingers push the wire back. So now you can see it's going out at a right angle. Now I'm going to reinsert the round nose pliers like so, and then take and just swing that wire around the pliers. And what I have now looks like this. There's a round wire loop centered over the neck, which is the wire, this wire. All right, I'm gonna grip it and then swing the tail around a couple times. Swing the tail around the neck a few times. Much better. I'm doing it so that you can see it. Ta-da! Then trim the end. Like so. Now, let me see. Sit this way. That looks better. Okay. Now, I like this little finding. It wasn't very expensive. It's not silver. It's some kind of silver colored something. But what I don't like about it, see how deep this U is? When they made it, it's just like really deep. And I think that practically speaking, it is too deep. So what I'm going to do is reshape it. Easy enough. You just take your flat nose pliers, open it up, flatten. So now, whoop, it goes straight down. Now I'm going to take my round nose pliers, insert them again, like so, and just roll it up to make a new loop. And you see how much lower that loop is now. Okay, first we have to put the little flower on. I like this little charm. It's just very sweet. Close it a little too much. Can't get the charm on. There. Like so. Now let's take the bead, put the bead on, like so. Then take the flat nose and close. Close it. Like so. Nothing can escape. And there you have it. A couple of cute little pair of cute earrings. Ta-ta! All right, peeps, here we are at the end of class. What did we do? We made some Starry Night canes. Then we made some beads. Look at all these beads. I made a ton of beads. A ton. Anyway, so you get the picture. There are a lot of beads. These are going to be heading to Africa. Okay, so then moved on to earrings. Oh, I think we made these. Yeah, these guys. And here is the same basic earring in blues and greens. Here are some chunkier, sort of acorn-shaped beads. Same as this, but not as elongated. And then here are a bunch. I couldn't stop myself. I just couldn't stop. Ooh, a bunch. A bunch more earrings. Yes. All right. That's it. Now, I'll show you this too. I made this. I like this a lot. Just a nice necklace. What's that dark shadow? Oh, that's that. Made with two rather large beads. I call these twisted tripods is what they are, because they're three-sided beads. Is it a bead if it only has one hole? Pendant. Dangle. Anyway, anywho, there's one, there's two, And you know what? I have done a class on this, so I'll post this when I can. All right. So that's it for this tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like and subscribe. I'd be most grateful. And, you know, I think that's all I gotta say. So thanks so much for watching. Until we meet again, I'm Donna Kato, signing off.